Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
But yeah, this argument on it was CNN, right, with Abby Phillip?
With Abby Phillip, yeah. Abby Phillip doesn't suffer fools.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, and she's absolutely right. It's like, come on, guys, we all saw it.
Yeah.
Live on television.
Right.
It's not like it was edited that way.
Right.
It was just that way.
Violent people broke into the chamber and defiled the Capitol.
Yeah.
All parts of the Capitol.
Yeah. And we've seen it.
Yes. And people have been arrested. People have been sent to jail.
Mm-hmm.
People
still happening.
Exactly.
It is still happening. We also have, by the way, we have Rude Pundit coming up at the bottom of this hour. And don't freak out, everybody. Frangela will be on today, even though today's Monday.
Mondays with
Frangela? Something like that. But they will be on at the third hour, the whole hour, because I'm going to need help. Because can you hear this in my nose?
Oh.
And it sounds a little bit like I feel.
Okay.
But yeah, so there is some good news with regards to Giuliani. It looks like he's going to be disbarred.
Yeah.
Which is sad, considering what he had accomplished prior to Donald. You know? I mean, he was a decent lawyer before.
He was a decent lawyer.
You know?
And,
he was an mayor.
I mean, he didn't barf on himself as mayor.
That's true. That's helpful. When being mayor.
When being a mayor.
When doing mayory things. The D.C. Board of Appeals held a ad hoc hearing and recommended that he be disbarred. Giuliani violated Rules 3.1 and 8.4 and violated Pennsylvania Rule 3.1 by filing a lawsuit seeking to change the result of the 2020 election, which we know about. And he had no legitimate grounds to do so. The respondents... the right to vote is essential, is the essence of a democratic society. I agree. The respondents' frivolous lawsuit attempted to unjustifiably and without precedent to disenfranchise hundreds of thousands of Pennsylvania. Remember, they wanted to stop counting because Pennsylvania changed its law with absentee ballots.
Right.
That you couldn't count them as you got them in. You had to wait until Election Day, which I think is just dumb.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. We count them as they come in
Sure.
here. They count them as they come in Florida.
Yeah.
And that's how you should do it. Because as soon as it's arrived and it's a valid ballot, count it. There's no reason to wait,
No, not at all.
Pennsylvania has a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
And it takes time to count ballots. So why not? I don't get that. Because they do count, like, early voting, don't they? As that comes in?
You know what? I don't know the specifics of every state. I'm sorry.
I don't either. But, I mean, if they don't, that's also stupid.
Yeah.
But they changed the law to make it for this exact reason was why they did that. To go, hey, all of a sudden the Democrats are winning. Well, a lot of us stayed home because of COVID. And we didn't want to go in crowds to vote.
Right.
Hence, voting by mail.
Yeah.
The committee found that the frivolous lawsuit on behalf of Donald Trump had no factual support, caused an astonishing waste of the resources of the district court and the Third Circuit and multiple defendants in a compressed time frame. It also cited Giuliani's dishonesty, his lack of remorse, and the significant consequences of his actions, which Abby spoke of. They said, we cannot blind ourselves to the broader context in which Mr. Giuliani's misconduct took place. It was calculated to undermine the basic premise of our democratic form of government that elections are determined by the voters.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
The Pennsylvania claims were carefully calibrated to blend into a nationwide cascade of litigation needed to overturn the presidential election. They continues, the misconduct here sadly transcends all of his past accomplishments, and I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. And so they unanimously...
It's a sad end to a...
It's a sad end to a relatively decent career.
Yeah.
And they unanimously recommended it.
Yeah.
I can talk. So that's interesting. His attorney, I'm not even going to quote because they're persecuting him. Whiny.
All they do is whine.
That's all they do. But no, this is
They
this
don't
is
own
good.
up to it like a man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is good news. And apparently, AG tweeted either yesterday or early this morning that Steve Bannon has now been ordered to pay his lawyer over $400,000.
Good.
Apparently, he hasn't been paying his bills either. And these people have money. It's not like they don't.
Right.
I mean, Giuliani may not anymore, but these people have the money and the means to pay their bills. I'm glad he's being ordered to do that, and I can't wait for him to go to prison.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Exactamundo.
Someone said that somewhere.
Someone said that. Who do we? Yeah, it's in a song, correct?
I think Scruff the crime, McGruff the crime dog said it.
Did he? It's
I think he did.
It's also in a song.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's isn't it in Shaft? Isn't it in that
I have
song?
no idea.
Somebody call and let me know.
I prefer to think of McGruff saying it.
You prefer to think of McGruff saying it.
You know, he did take a bite out of crime.
He did take a bite out of crime. Hi, Lucretia in Milwaukee. How are you?
Hi, yes. Good morning, your sweaty church whore.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lucretia.
yes, we love that.
From Milwaukee.
Yes, you're. So this is. I'm a almost long-time listener, first time on hold. For the longest time in Stephanie Miller history, before you guys went on to break, I'm sorry to drop in that drama queen moment. But I didn't hear. Is Travis there? Because I didn't hear his voice.
He's not here. I'm
No,
sitting in
he
for
took,
him.
he took off Monday, last Monday through tomorrow.
No, last Wednesday through
or last
tomorrow.
Wednesday through tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll save my rant for Friday then for Travis Louise.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Travis is back on Wednesday.
Yeah, he'll be back on Wednesday. I will be off then. And then back.
Well, I'm happy I get to talk to you, excellent people, and so I'm not sure if you guys have. I'm sure you guys have had to hear it. Rick Scott, or they like to call him Bat Boy, making the comment saying if someone wants to come and vacation or live in Florida, to think twice about there. And he's like, we don't believe in socialism. This is freedom. And the same, bullshine, rhetoric that they spew. The reason why it burns my ass is like, look, if me and my boyfriend, what I also call my lover and best friend, if we want to bring our socialist ass to Florida, who are you to sit there and stop us?
Right.
Or anybody for that matter. And it kills me how you're going to sit there and try to sit there and act like the big tough guy. And this is the same guy who actually committed the biggest Medicare fraud ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He sure did.
Yep. He was a criminal.
Florida, but no, don't you come into my state. And so, and my next thing, right quick, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just jumping off of that one point, Disney said, okay, we're not coming to your state. They stopped about 2,000
jobs,
very high-paying jobs from moving to Florida from
Yep.
California.
Yep.
Because of the shenanigans.
Don't come. But don't come here though. And look, and you're absolutely right, Chris. And look what happened.
Yep.
And the other thing I just want to mention right quick, Cuckoo Kachu RFK Jr. and his being anti-vax and so forth. I'm wondering, and I'm curious. Do you guys know who he's married to?
Yes, Cheryl Hines.
Yep.
Hines.
Yeah.
She has been quiet like a church mouse, whizzing on
She has
cotton.
commented on all of this.
She
has. She said she loves her husband. She may not support all of his views.
There you go. I mean, he was uninvited to certain parties because he wasn't vaccinated.
Right.
So.
Right, and this last part with Cheryl Hines, my thing is that if he's anti-vax, I wonder if she is.
No, she's not.
She's not.
She's not.
Oh,
she's not.
I'm clutching my pearls and release. Oh, thanks.
All right, have a good one, Lucretia.
Thanks, Lucretia.
Thanks, you too, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, yeah, a friend of mine knows her and has met him a few times, and I said, can you give her a call and have her try to nudge him out of doing this? And my friend said that his ego is so
I can't imagine anybody talking him out of all of this.
No, his narcissism and his ego is so out of control because he's a Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was raised like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, for Lucretia and everybody else, there were a few family gatherings that RFK Jr. was not invited to because you had to be vaccinated for COVID.
Right.
And he got upset with his wife for that. And she's like, go get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've pointed out that he's juicing.
Yes, he is taking anti-aging supplements, which often are human growth hormone and testosterone, manufactured by pharma companies. The same pharma companies that
probably
manufacture
Pfizer and
that
all
manufacture vaccines. So he is very selective in his outrage against the pharma companies.
Well, I mean,
if it benefits him,
Right.
they're okay.
Right. I mean,
But if it's something to rail against, then they're evil.
Well, I mean, I understand being upset with Big Pharma. I have issues with Big Pharma myself, especially in this country because we pay more than any other country for our drugs. So I get that
But
kind
that's
of
a
rage.
separate issue.
That's not the same.
Right. Then it's a separate issue from the efficacy of the products that they manufacture.
Absolutely.
They're actually really good at producing effective products, mostly because of the regulation that's on them by the FDA.
And hopefully that won't go away with our Supreme Court. We need that. As much as we, to our dismay, that we have to wait a little longer to get our drugs out to market.
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. And then
because they have to be as safe as possible.
Yes, exactly. And so once it is fully authorized, like the new Alzheimer's drug, it does have some serious side effects, but it can get 6 months of...
But that is why they list the side effects in their ads, and the doctors are very, very well aware of the side effects, so that you know the risks that you're taking if you decide to take this medication.
Exactly. And the thing that he was upset about initially was thimerosal, which is what they used to put as a preservative in a lot of vaccines. And it hasn't been used in forever.
Yeah.
And he was probably right about that, but it's not there anymore.
Nope,
so
not
there
at all.
is no need to be concerned about vaccinations of any kind at this point in time. Oh, yes.
Chris?
We
are getting tweets saying
it's Beretta.
It's Beretta.
It's Beretta.
Don't do the
time if you can't.
Don't do the crime
if you can't do the time. It was the theme from Beretta. Steve from Chicago.
Keep your eye on the sparrow.
Exactly.
There it is, my first drink of the day, Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic. Many of you know my story. I stopped drinking wine for 3 years during COVID, during the lockdown as part of a health reset. Now I drink wine in moderation, but this is an amazing new product. I've always believed in probiotics. And Z-Biotics, check this out. You drink just one of these. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I am using this and I feel great in the morning. I don't have to worry if I have an extra glass of wine, I still feel great in the morning. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. I've always had acid reflux problems. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. All I know is it works. It is Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic. Go to zbiotics.com/politicalvoices or scan the QR code on the screen right now.